I'm Janet, Try It Like It Created, and I have another set of items from Creativation that I am unboxing, unbagging in front of me. And so I thought I would share the randomness of what I have in front of me. Okay, so Ranger was there, and I think I have an apron somewhere. I'll have to show that to you later. But they also were giving out these sketch pads, so let's just take a quick peek at this. It comes with a pen and a black pad. So what is this? This is a 0.2 Ranger. Looks like a really fine little detailed pen. And then Notepad feels really nice on the surface. It has the elastic band, and this is the inside, and it looks like a lined notepad, and it does have a ribbon to mark where you're at. So definitely just a little either journal or note taking for your process of what you're doing. I'm trying to get the pen into the little elastic band here on the side, and I may have to give up on that and do it later. But that's from Ranger. And then also they had a bunch of pins, if you're familiar with their Ranger pins, and they had them out in different colors. I picked up 4. I have another one that was light in color, I think. My thought was putting them together in a little frame would be really cute to put together and then hang on the wall. So that was my intention with these. I have to locate the other one. Then little Birdie was there, part of Notions, and they provided a variety of different flowers for a few of the creative professionals, and so these are the ones that I got in my package. And Altenew was there, and this was a stamp that they were handing out. It's Clematis, Montana. It says, Miss You, Hi. And then we've got the flower and the leaves. So cute little stamp. And then it shows here how you can put it together and the different colors to work with for that stamp. Daniel Smith was there showing off their products. I picked up these 2 sample cards. This one is extra fine gouache and the colors that it comes in. I like that it's the actual samples. It's not a printed piece. It's actual samples of the gouache. You can feel the texture and probably reactivate it if you put water on it. And then they had their extra fine watercolors. And you can wet your brush and test these new these are the new colors. And then it also came with one little color crayon. And this is Quinacridone Sienna. So there was a sample of that on there. And like I said, these are their new colors. This is not all of the colors in the watercolors. So there is that. This company was there. I thought it was quite interesting. They had a booth that had a few different things. This is called Lat Cosmetics, and I got to try their product. It's a temporary tattoo. So they have stamps, and then they have the inks, and then they also have like little brushes that you can color in your tattoos, and they're temporary. I thought these would be great. Here is the QR code if you're interested in scanning that. And this is what their products look like. So this was the stamp pad. You can see the stamps. Now these felt kind of rock-like. They're hard. And the reason for that is that when you go to stamp on skin, you want the skin to be able to be manipulated, not the stamp itself. And then these were the brushes that you could color with. And I forget how long they said it lasts. It lasts for a few days, but it's not permanent. So I thought that was fun. And you can also get your own stamp images made from them. And I thought that could work well for a lot of different applications like festivals, schools, churches that are doing some like children's festivals or Bible studies or anything like that. anywhere that would want their own design, you might want to look at La Dot. The same booth, they had this collectible theme stamp set, which I thought was interesting because they came in a wood box like this, and so it's a theme. All right, it's a wooden stamp set, and they had the inks, and they were limited editions. So you can see here they have Halloween, Easter, Christmas, Valentine's. It comes in a wooden box, and on the back of the wooden box were hooks so you could hang it up on your wall. So it was not only decorative, but also useful. So they had a couple of different sets of that, and that was quite interesting. And then they had their ink pads, and it was called Colop. I think that's how you say it. Is the company that had these products. And then they also had a little digital printer and a stamp pad for children. And I don't have that information in front of me. If I come across it, I will bring it up in another video. I have this notepad that says Make Art, My Amazing Creative Journal, Make Art or Die Trying. And you can see that it is a dotted journal, and then there's some white pages, and then there are some lined pages. So multi-purpose, multi-use. I have no clue who gave this to me. So if anybody watching this knows where I picked this up from, please make a note and let me know. I will ask around and find out where this came from. Then, let's see, moving things around here. All right, Trinity Stamp was there, and they had a really cute booth that was was kind of outer space themed, and they were with Pear Blossom Press, which has the light up lights for card making. And so they had this set that they were handing out that was alien, and it says Beam Me Up and Brewed for Adventure with Coffee Beans and Espresso Terrestrial Coffee Company, and it's been a blast. So this was their giveaway, their photopolymer stamp set. So that's kind of an example of how you can use it. There's the coffee cup, and with the coffee beans coming out of it. Let's see. John Bead was there, and I do have another bag of beads to share with you, somewhere packed somewhere else. But this is from their booth. They had a make and take where they had the pens, and then they had containers with beads in it that you could choose to put in your own. And I thought this was an interesting pen in that it's a little bit different than some of the other pens that I have seen. The top comes off like so, and it also comes out of the pen base here. And so you could put your beads on either way, from the top or the bottom. And then the pen itself twists, and you can see here that they have printed theirs with John Bead information on it. So that was fun, standing in their booth and putting together this pen. You could do it, they had different colors. I grabbed the pinkish type of beads, but they're super pretty. Hopefully they're coming in focus for you there. So that was John Bead. Lindy's Gang was there. I'm familiar with them. I have used them before, and I have their magicals, and I also have some of their sprays. But they have new packaging. Their containers are a little bit taller now, and they are also have kind of like a shaker opening to them. And then they had a sample, and I got the French Lilac and Violet. And so that's what their sample was. And it talks about how to play with them. And these are powders that you can put down, spritz with water, and then a whole bunch of magical color happens. The other thing that you can do with them is dip your paintbrush into the magicals and use it like watercolor paint. So they were there. Let's see, what else do I have in front of me here? Natural Earth was there. And they gave me this catalog, and what they focus on in a price list, they focus on all kinds of products, and a lot of their users are people who have allergies to other other materials that are in a lot of the art supplies. So you can see that they have fine art, they have face painting, they have Easter egg dye, all kinds of different natural earth products. They're eco-friendly. And so a lot of alternatives for fine artists who are having some allergic reactions or health needs, that this is Natural Earth Paint Company, and they gave me a little sample of their green paint, and you just mix it with water. So it is a powder in a bag, and you mix it 1-to-1 with water, and you mix it up to get the consistency of the paint. So that's Natural Earth. And Deco Art was there, and I stopped in to see Sandy, and she did a little demo for me and gave me a bunch of samples here. So she gave me these, which are kind of like, she had cut these on her laser, and you could paint them with Deco Art paint, but she sent me home with a bunch of these, and somewhere I have some cards that she sent me with as well to paint on. And then she gave me this pin, which is all the new Americana colors that she had made. You can see that it's got resin on the top, and then she signed the back. So this was a pin that she gave me, but then she also gave me the blank that I could paint my own. So, and these were all laser engraved by Sandy. And then while I was visiting her at the booth, she showed me there how you can make it stain with Deco Art. Comes in colors. It's an Americana edition. So this was just a sample piece of wood that she used to put the stain on. So you can see what the difference of the natural wood was, and then with the stain on it. So you can now stain wood in your home in all different colors. So that was with Deco Art. I stopped by the Ecstasy Craft booth, and now they have an online store, but they had a make and take, and they were making these pop-up cards that they sell. And so I had fun doing this one. It says "Thinking of You," and it is a pop-up birthday card with a birthday cake in 3D. And so that was mine. And then my daughter, who's also my partner, made one for herself, and she did this design. And hers pops up like this, and she put her sayings on the inside. It says "Time to celebrate," and it's your birthday. So that's her pop-up card that she made, and that was with Ecstasy Crafts. They had a whole booth of all of their products and so forth. But we sat down on the back side of the booth and did this make and take with them. And then Clear Stamps was there and did a whole series of stamps for NAMTA to show off their stamps. And so what they have here for the 75th anniversary was they had the 75th anniversary stamp that they made. And then they also made a special edition 2-color stamp. So you can see here that you have a stamp. There's for the number 5, there's a stamp for part B, there's a stamp for part A. So they do multiple layered stamps as well. And so they gave us this as a sample. And then they did a NAMTA set with the 2005 Creativation by NAMTA, Photocentric, and then the NAMTA logo. And they are a company that you can make your own stamps through, as well as stencils. They had this one for Seattle, because that's where we were for the trade show, was in Seattle. So they did this Seattle stamp, and it says Seattle on it. So that's cute. And then they had stencils. And so this is the NAMTA stencil for 75 years being in business. And then they gave me this one, which is quite interesting, where they can show you that they took a piece of artwork from an artist and broke it down into layers that you can stamp with. And so that's what's included in this package. I don't know, I don't think it breaks it down here, but it tells you who the artist is and how they made this. But there's multiple layers here that you can then stamp this image from the layers of this stamp. And then the other thing I have in front of me is from Beacon. They were there and they had some sample of their glues, and so I grabbed a little gem tack, a 527, a foam tack, and one other one that I've already used. I needed it for something that broke while we were at the trade show. So it is packed away in a different bag, but they had all of theirs, and they were displaying some of their new products where they had glue for leather and foam, and there was one other one. But those were their new 3. And if you look at my video for the new products from NAMTA, you'll see the 3 new glue products from Beacon that they have. And then I have some Dynasty brushes. Now, these are not all the brushes I have that were given to me from Dynasty, but they were what was in this bag that I unboxed. So there's this one that is Evo Art, and you can see the shape on that. Beautiful. And then these are my favorite, the black golds. And this is kind of like a, I think they call it a fishtail, but you can see the shape on those. And then there was this one, which is a water lily, which is their new line. I believe it's a new line in this kind of peach colored handle. And you can see how small that brush is. And like I said, I have more brushes to share with you from Dynasty, but this is what was in this package. So this was another unboxing from the trade show, and I will continue to share with you as I unbox more and more.